night out of the whole holiday weekend. Actually, Thanksgiving was really fun. I got pretty drunk with the fam.
With the fam? You got drunk with your mom and dad?
Really? More so my mom, my aunt. My dad was chilling on the couch watching football.
Auntie Baby was there?
Oh, yeah, she was there.
Auntie who?
Auntie Baby.
Oh, yeah, that's my aunt's name.
What's her real name?
Kadi.
Yeah.
Kadi.
But they've been calling her baby since she was a kid. And
she beat your ass.
Shit.
Yeah, she beat your fucking ass.
Dead ass, she would.
I swear.
Yeah.
She beat your ass.
She beat your ass?
She beat my ass.
For simple things like just fucking around, stealing a cookie from the cookie jar.
Well, I was a very ignorant kid.
Yeah.
You got to understand.
I feel you.
So
You are still ignorant, Driss.
I don't try to be.
Everybody was faded, though. Good Thursday. The weekend in general was cool. So how was everybody else's Thanksgiving weekend?
I've never really been a big fan of I'm not a fan of any holidays, honestly. But if people invite me over to eat, I'm gonna eat. So had a couple Asian homies.
That's what's good.
Yeah. And
who are these Asians that you be kicking it with?
I saw that on your story,
Asian homies, bro. I try to literally. I'll be wanting a friend of every culture, bro.
I had an Asian class, or it wasn't supposed to be an Asian class, actually. It was a business class in college, and it was all Asian when I got there.
Yeah, no, you got to put your mic on you got to put your lips on the dick.
Yeah.
That's what Charlotte made me say. Scoot closer.
Before Nick carries on with his story, Nick's filling in for Bashir today.
Yeah, what's good?
He's doing a 2-for-1 deal. I mean, we might get Sumie on the mic.
Sume's sick, but
today, maybe.
I don't know.
She's here.
She's present.
Mood.
But anyway, I showed up to this business class, and it was, unbeknownst to me, it was all Asians.
Well, you said business class.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just befriended them. I became family with the Asians. So,
Word?
yeah.
You were just
They're really easy to
All of them are my cousins now.
They're really easy to they're literally like us, bro. It sounds cliche, but they are.
I think Asian people are so cool.
But they are. Do you know what, though? I know a lot of people who don't like Asians.
That's crazy.
But I'm not talking like American Asians. I'm saying like Asians from like different, like Japan or China or something. Like fresh off the boat.
I really some fobs.
People don't be liking them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because these niggas be whipping Beamers when they first get here.
That's really any fresh off the boat. They be Africans who be straight from and they be kind of, I don't know. I feel I know y'all African, but it's y'all American African though.
Americanized.
The fresh off the boat ones, or the ones who just never even tried to fit in with America.
Those are
they got a certain. They got a certain arrogance about them.
Well, they don't like people from here.
They don't. First of all,
why do they like that?
Call black people,
and they really think black people are African Americans are stupid.
They hate Africans.
They call them Afros. They're like the Afros. That's what they call them.
What?
Yeah, bro.
They
don't. I don't get it. I don't understand why.
Not to get too personal. Is any of your parents like that?
Yes.
My parents aren't. My parents aren't necessarily like
not
that.
anymore. I would say because in high when it was when I first moved over to Ohio, that's where they started seeing a lot more black people. Because when I used to live, they saw a lot of black people in New York, and my parents had really bad experiences with them because it's the city. Yeah. And then when I moved to Ohio, they're like, all right, we got you. We brought you over here. Down. Yeah, we brought you over here to get away from that shit in the city. Yeah. So then when I started hanging out with niggas, they're like, no. So then they moved to Westerville, and then I was hanging out with all white people. And then when I got to high school and I started bringing niggas to the crib, they're like, no, we're not doing this until I could ease them into it.
Until I could ease them into it. You had to lube them up.
So Nick, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was lit, man. I hung out with my brothers. I hadn't seen them in a while. Well, I see David every day, but Nick.
Oh, your other brother.
Specifically, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have another brother named Nick. He was my step brother. Oh. Yeah. But
does that get confusing?
Not really, because when he's
Nick,
there, he
Nick?
goes by Nick and I go by Nicholas. So.
Okay.
He's older than me. I'll take it.
About to start
I feel like the
Nicholas.
older should be called Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't like it as much as I do.
Well, yeah, he's older, so he kind of gets to.
Yeah.
All right, Driss.
Say so.
Your weekend, real quick.
So I went to Delaware, not the city, the state.
Oh.
What the hell is there to do in Delaware? This is what we got to
I've
ask.
been there.
So
never
Delaware. Beaches in Delaware.
There are beaches in Delaware.
For real?
But it's Delaware is a very, very, very small state.
Might be them too.
So it's kind of like it's a giant suburb. That's the best way I could put it. It's a giant suburb. Surprisingly, a lot more black people than you would expect.
Really?
Really? There.
Wow.
And it's just a very rich state.
What's the zhuzh there? What's the is there culture?
No.
I feel like there's a lot of Patriots.
You ever
fans
been
up
to
there.
Powell?
I don't like it.
Like
Powell, Ohio?
Yeah.
No, I've heard about it. It sounds so boring.
It's just like Powell. Everywhere
Really?
you look, it's like Powell. I try to make the comparison to Westerville,
but even Westerville has a little bit more.
It's Powell specifically.
Yeah, it's like Powell.
As
as quiet as dead, and there's Amish people.
For those of you who don't know where Powell, Ohio is, it's a suburb of Columbus. It is pretty fucking white.
It is.
Shit is
pretty random.
Desolate. Does that fit?
I mean, well, there's beautiful homes there. It's a thriving suburb,
Exactly.
but it's just it's pretty white.
It's like it's like where old people go to die. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like Florida.
There's new
said
money
people
there.
go to
yeah, there's new money there for sure.
But
I've never had an interest. Never had a.
There's a lot of land out there.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, I've heard that.
All right, off of Thanksgiving, y'all were going to talk about Bitcoin because they were having minor.
Let's
boners.
talk about before we jump into that. Let's talk about the dub we got this weekend.
OSU football. Yeah, they beat Michigan.
Yeah,
Yawn.
I mean, I don't want to stay on the game too much, but it was JT got hurt.
I'm not hating the game.
JT got
The
hurt?
game was just not.
Did you not?
I didn't watch the
to
game.
watch.
I was driving home.
Yeah, I was drunk. I wasn't paying attention. I was, but it was like they scored. I cheered.
I thought we started
This
off
is the
down
15th out of the last 16 years that the Buckeyes have beat the Wolverines. So at this point, it really doesn't matter.
though. It doesn't.
Oh yeah, true. You're right.
It's good for the state of Ohio.
A W is a W though.
Yeah. Good for the. Oh, hey, look who decided she's
now
well
Sumie
enough
wants
to
to
But
get
also, JT Barrett was the first quarterback in history to beat Michigan 4 times
That's
in a row.
a hand clap to him. Hand clap to him.
That
congrats.
is. I think that's
JT,
pretty
go
cool.
ahead.
Is he going to the NFL?
No.
He probably won't even start the next game. I heard he's injured. So
That's a
Yeah.
hand clap to him.
Like
But Haskins came.
that
in
kid's gonna be a
clutch.
beast.
Haskins is really, and he plays like he's Urban's offense. Like that's
Wait,
basically
so
the
that's
offense
is he the
runs.
backup quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so we're about to be.
he's a freshman.
Damn, how salty would it be if them niggas made the playoffs and this nigga Haskins leads them to a national
They're
championship?
not going to make the
happened with
They're not
playoffs.
making the playoffs.
I mean, but that's
I don't
what
think
I
they're
heard
making the playoffs.
it's because Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama lost.
Yep.
But enough college football. I'm glad Ohio State won. Bitcoin. You two had chubs over this right before we started.
Yes. Huge boners.
money.
Yeah, this is shout out to my dude, Sci-Hi. But he put
Great
me-
album, by the way.
Yo, Sci could spit.
Amazing
Isn't he
album.
like
by the way.
40?
Listen, wait.
He's 32.
Hell no.
He's 32.
I'm fucking with you.
But this is the Asian dude that I went to Thanksgiving with. His name is Sai, so I'll always be calling him Sci-Hi.
Oh, that's
But
dope.
yeah, but I mean, we gonna touch on that album.
Yeah,
That's literally
okay.
one of my favorite albums.
The only
right
reason
now.
I said he was 40 is because he started rapping mad
yeah,
late.
yeah,
right?
he did.
No, he
But,
started rapping when he was like 15.
But
I mean,
he
actually
got
in the
the game.
Popping off.
Yeah, in the game. He's probably like 28.
I read something that he's
like 28.
He was older.
Nah, he was signed as niggas
But he wasn't
like 10
getting
years
that like when Royal
I'm
Flush
saying,
and all that came
I'm saying
out.
he probably popped off maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah. But
Bitcoin.
Yeah, my dude saw
Let
he
me do
put
the
me
research.
on. He put me on to Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys know about it to the listeners, but it's actual like a it's a global cryptocurrency within the internet. So it's just think about literally like your dollar, just numbers in a computer. It gets deep, and I only know the surface of it. But the real thing is the stocks of Bitcoin right now. Now, last year, I can't remember what month it was, but it was probably like the beginning of last year. Bitcoin stocks, it was like $2,000 for one Bitcoin. Since then, Trump got into office and everything, gave America a real scare, and you know that fluctuates. You know, Alpha can tell you about all that. He's into the.
I don't
stuff
know. I
like
can't.
that.
I'm not good with economics.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, when
But
it comes
yeah.
to money,
Driss may know a little bit more.
But just his face and his morals and his codes, it fluctuated. Everybody got scared, thinking about the U.S. dollar. So Bitcoin jumped up from $2,000 in 1 year to 8,600 last week.
Well, that's kind of what happened with the stock market anyway, though. Like, I mean, well,
With a lot of things, yeah,
the stock
with a lot of
market's
things.
a lot higher now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. In general,
Fair. Okay.
yeah. But this stuff I'm talking about is rising. Literally, me and Driss was just sitting here talking about it. It's jumping like $5, $10, $20 every 5 minutes.
yeah.
So hop on the wave right now.
Hop on the
wave.
fucking
Hop on the
wave.
fucking
My
wave.
dude, he put $9 in like I think it was like 5 months ago. He just recently checked it now. Now he got like $280 something off of $9.
And Nick was speaking to this a little bit earlier. The value of the U.S. dollar isn't going to go down.
Eventually, yeah. If we keep it up with our bullshit.
Can you explain a little bit more, Nick, about what you were saying when it came to like the value of it?
Well, I was just saying like we owe people like all over the world we owe money. So like with Bitcoin, man, like it's potential that people will be fed up with the bullshit of the US dollar and be like, fuck it, bro. Let's go Bitcoin and buy shit online. Like it could be potentially open like a floodgate for that shit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing with when it comes to like anything in the future. 10 years ago, you didn't know your cell phone would be able to do everything for you. So 10 years from now, cryptocurrency could be what
the thing. Yeah. Like that's what money is.
Right. Like, that's all I'm saying.
And I really believe it, dude. I really believe it too, because it's like places that you go now, they're not even accepting cash. Mm-hmm. Like real legit businesses, restaurants. Like you walk in with cash, they like, we can't do nothing with that.
Really? Like here in the US?
No, yeah, when we was in Chicago, me, Chris, Anthony, yeah, TJ, we was all like going to get something to eat, and some places literally was like had signs on the door saying, I mean, the term was like cash is not, because you know some people say cash is king. Yeah, it's saying it on the door like cash is not king. We only accept card here.
It's kind of funny that you said that, because I know that there's a couple countries around the world that don't accept U.S. money.
Yeah, man, and that's why I said because everything's going. It's digital.
Well, and that's why I think things like Square Cash, Venmo, all that other shit.
Popping
like,
off,
it's just way more convenient. I don't like having cash on me.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody does anymore.
Yeah, it's a nuisance.
And I used to think,
unless you buy some weed.
I used to think that a long time ago, like, I say if I owed out for $10 back in the day, and I'm like, man, I don't have cash. Like, why can't I just literally get on my bank account, type his number in, and just send my fucking my bread?
But that's the reason why I love the Venmo Square Cash thing.
They just
that excuse is out the window now. Yo, bro, I'll get you later. It's like, nah,
you need me right now.
Yeah, no. Yesterday, because we were out at the bar, and Chris was like, "Fuck, I don't have my regular card, but I can Square Cash you some money if you get me this drink." You know what I'm saying? Because it's attached to your bank account.
I got a good question.
So it's like, thank you, bro.
Dope, bro.
I got a good question.
No excuse.
Very progressive.
Do you think drug dealers use Venmo and Square
Speaking
Cash?
of drugs, okay, so we're open here, right?
I can answer your question too.
Okay, well, I'll go real quick. A buddy of mine purchased some. I don't know if they do just yet, because you'd be able to trace it. Yeah, and if it's like a big lump sum of money at once,
they keep an eye.
Yeah, they might.
You can get kicked, like, because I mean, shit, I don't really know too many drug dealers, but my friend, he has a friend who has a friend. I mean, that's the monkey's uncle stuff, but I guess he sells drugs, and he fucking, like, he does like $10,000, $15,000 transactions, like instant, like all the time. So then, I think it was Venmo or one of them. They like this is like his third one he's been kicked off.
Because it's just too much money at once.
And they'll ask for your records. Like, once they see you making so many, if you send $50, $20 every
speaking
day.
To the little dealer, like, you're not sending $10,000 transactions.
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm saying.
You're sending 25s,
but
50s, 25s, 100s.
They're not tripping.
It's all like within.
It's like a pattern.
It's all
How
within the
many
bubble.
times you buy an eighth, $50, $50. Where are you getting all these $50 bills from?
But they don't really check for that because it's so small.
It's small. It's not much.
But my dude, like he
But listen to this. So what if you make like a PayPal business account? Because I'm just kind of getting hip to this, and you can like literally there's an app for it. You can like make specific like specific things that you want, like, for customers to buy, right? Let's say you're selling weed.
Yeah.
So I got this for $5. I got this for $15. Obviously, you're not going to call it weed, Reggie, or just like any, like, but you can keep doing that. And anytime somebody buys something for you, they can just swipe. How would they know? How would they know that's actual weed that you're selling through there?
They get that one of those, like, square things on the top of their shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how would they know?
People are dumb. Like, sometimes when you're sending something in Square Cash, if someone say you get say you're buying Coke or whatever, and somebody's gonna put a nose and a snowflake, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
but I'm saying
fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dog. Just say, hey, Be creative. like that's how
stupid. I put some clown and shit, but I never make it obvious.
Yeah, I kind of don't. I kind of think it's pointless though when they say, "What are you giving this money for?" It's just like, listen,
I don't like
what
that.
if I just want to give them some fucking money?
Well, I think they do it for that reason.
I don't think you get, but you can put like anything. You can literally put a zero.
But they make you put something though.
Right.
Yeah. That is true.
Like
and that's annoying as
But I also, the reason why I don't like Venmo, I don't like Venmo because everybody else can see the reason why I got that shit. Like, you can get yourself,
really?
I hate that shit.
Everybody can see.
The other day
the other
day I saw this homie from high school hanging out with some girl clearly because he paid her money for something. I was like, oh, so they kick it now?
Yeah,
you can see shit like that. You can really see that shit.
You can like it's kind of becoming like cool. Facebook almost. Like
that's not cool.
I don't like that.
They be kicking in their day in or something.
Yeah,
especially when it comes to money, that's not cool.
You can catch people doing shit like, okay, so why did Sumie pay Dylan this amount of money? What are they doing? What are they doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
or just
Sumie's over there like, I didn't do shit.
Or just Alpha, I owe Alpha some money. I tell him later, but then I give you like $5,
and I get on
Alpha
there
like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
obviously I don't think people really go through it like that, but like I was just scrolling through it the other day.
Like roommates paying their bills and shit. They see it on Venmo. Like you send somebody else some money for some drugs or some shit.
Or just
you got to pay the fucking rent.
Yeah, and then they tell them, oh, I ain't got money for rent. You're like, bitch, I seen on Venmo you had money for something else.
Spent $250 on some. You feel me? On that yayo, but
on that yay.
Yeah, but I like that Bitcoin convo. We need
bro.
I want to get somebody in who's really like knowledgeable on it because I don't know shit.
I don't know
just like the like I said.
I mean, I try to invest in some shit. Like I want my money spread out.
Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna try to get involved in Bitcoin. But
bro, I work with some rich ass people like at work, and they are super like trying to get into that shit. Like the richest
because to get even deeper on Bitcoin, like you mine it. Like people have miners. Like. Fucking think about this whole room filled with like fucking 30 computers and they're mining Bitcoin. So like they're making it. So say you got all that tied into, you can end up with $8,000 if you mine up one Bitcoin.
How do you mine? What do you mean mine?
I literally don't know. But like I said, I just know the surface and stuff. You got to have a lot of servers, a lot of computers, and it just mines Bitcoin all day. All day, you just digging up Bitcoin.
Let me try to comprehend that real quick.
I don't really know how it works.
I don't know how to do that.
But yeah, it's once you just get into it. I say everybody just read it, and I want everybody to jump on the wave because that just makes the stock grow.
And it's what I said earlier. You don't know what's gonna pop off in 10 years.
You don't, bro.
We did not know that our cell phones would be able to do this.
This shit jumped from $2,000 to $8,000, bro, in less than a year.
That's incredible.
That's insane.
Bro, I'm really thinking like Diddy right now.
Yeah, no. I gotta tell Driss is
I'm plotting.
All right, so to transition, I don't know. I don't have like a proper segue. But we got to get into ego.
This is probably about to be one of my favorite.
She gotta
favorite
be ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
what's everybody's definition of ego?
I don't know, and that's my thing. It's a broad.
It is very broad,
but that you can get into it. Ego could be. I think a lot of people have a hard time admitting when they're wrong.
Yes,
I've gotten better at that as the years have gone on. If you can I'll look within and be like, I handled that situation wrong.
You checked your ego.
Yeah. Let me look back and let me reevaluate how I handled myself.
So would you say ego is like your interpretation of how others view you?
No.
I think it's both. I think it's that and how you view your.
How do you want them to view you? How about that?
That it's more like how do you?
I think that nails it.
Yeah.
Because your ego. You don't need somebody else to be there to show that you have an ego.
You can feed
you can
into
have an ego
your
by yourself.
Yeah.
You can literally be walking around the house like I'm the shit, and that's literally your ego.
It's mostly how you view yourself, but it's a part of like how you want to put yourself onto other people and have them view you. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a profile.
My thing is, you can't have control over that.
Right, you can't.
Like, you can't control how other people
That's what
see
people
you.
with big egos. That's what
but
kills
you know what?
them.
I think that's what the ego is.
That's what kills them.
You can't have control, but you want control.
But and that's
what ego is.
That's what kills
bro.
people with big egos, is that you can't control that. So if they do something outside that measure that you think your ego goes to, then
Because
then it makes you furious.
My thing is, everybody's got a little bit of one. I think it's just a matter.
I mean, it's
a matter of, and this may come with. Some people never find this even with age, but I think I found as I've gotten older, again, you gotta look at each situation and be like, did I handle that properly? And if I didn't handle it properly, it's my obligation to go fix that.
Right.
Sometimes it's unfixable, and that's fine, but you got to at least attempt.
That's also checking the ego too.
Yeah.
It's just knowing. Sure. See, I really got into this, like I say, about the end of last year, because I've always noticed, like, even when I was hanging around knuckleheads and stuff back in the day, like I've always been like real self-aware and self-conscious, and always looked at myself, and when I did something stupid, I'd be like, why did I really do that?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't just like a floating around type of doing this, doing that type of dude.
A long time after you realized you did.
Yeah. And then that's what the ego is. You check why you did it. So I can easily be like, oh, I did this just to fit in. And that's that's a blow to my ego.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, isn't that funny though? You're saying I did it to fit in, but being an egotistical person, sometimes you may not do it. You don't care what people think of you in a way. I mean, so because you were saying, all right, ego is what you want others, how you want others to perceive you. Yeah. Sometimes look at a Kanye West that's a great. Actually, Donald Trump would be an even bigger example. That ego is insane.
Those are examples of people that egos are just out of
control.
But then it's funny
their ego's bigger than them.
Yes. I also think that they're the most insecure.
That's
people.
what I was thinking too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they're worried.
Ego and insecurity is hand in hand.
Yeah, and that's what's funny about that. They'll try to come off as the most confident people on the planet, but yet it's like, at the end of this, we can look at Trump or even Kanye. Somebody says something negative about him, and they flip.
Yeah,
they're like, this fat.
And you can.
Yeah. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
No. You can see that from how people dress to how they walk to how they talk to people. Like, it's usually the most flashiest person or the most loudest person. Like, those the ones that got the biggest ego, but they're really the most insecure.
Yeah. This is a famous saying that my mom would always say, but she was like, empty vessels make the most noise.
Ooh, that sounded dope.
My parents had some dope sayings.
Empty vessels.
They took it from somebody else.
Yeah, but like
it's like an echo. It's hollow in there.
Well, I mean,
bro.
you're just the people who just continuously talk and talk and talk.
Yeah,
like sometimes they be the ones who is just like, I'm trying to portray this level of confidence, but
they just want somebody to hear them.
Yeah, and I just want to show you how my profile page is. Like, I want you to be interested in me. I want you to.
That's why girls that put all those posts up as just their selfies.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
ego.
That's
we can get into that. Like,
dudes do the same thing. I'm not trying to say girls do it all the time.
Social media is like the gamma rays to the Hawk, like for ego, bro.
It's funny because I was talking to this girl. She puts up a lot of Instagram photos and stuff. My bad, I said and something. But she outwardly she was drunk one night, but she just flat out said it. Like, yeah, I mean, I compare myself to a lot of other girls regularly, so that's why I'm constantly taking photos and shit like that. And like,
that's an ego check, but it's like, now do something about it.
Yeah, but it was just like, well, wait. She's like, yeah, I'm super insecure. I'm not gonna lie, but she was open about it. I think it was the alcohol talking, but I was just like, yeah, but it made sense a little bit.
Well,
some people need that liquid courage, bro. Yeah. And I think that's the ultimate ego step is when you can get past using a substance to let your real self out.
Yes.
That's
so annoying.
That's the thing, because I've had great conversations pretty much with everybody here sober. All right. There's a lot of people who the only time they've ever even thought to open up is when they're fucked up out of their mind.
Well, I feel like those people don't challenge themselves enough. You know what I'm saying?
They
like,
don't. Themselves.
Yeah, they don't challenge themselves enough. Like, honest to God, I wouldn't say I was like, I'm not insecure. I'm not that insecure. I wouldn't even say I'm insecure at all. I think everyone is kind of insecure.
Yeah, some type of insecurities.
I was a little insecure, but like before then, like I was a lot more quiet, like a lot more antisocial. Yeah. Until, especially like when I moved to Ohio. But then like I broke out of my shell like in high school, and I was just like, dude, fuck it, I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Because like I was like everyone gets like you get riffed and shit to a point where you just said fuck it, you just say fuck it, I don't care.
Well, and this is why like
you started to change your role. You know, you started to change how you even walked, bro. Like how you carried yourself is what I'm saying. Like, and I mean,
Yeah, this is from a dude who knew me back then. Like,
for better or for worse, it helped you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep, I used to be a pigeon-toed bastard.
No, I was saying the literal way he walked, just the way he carried himself, and like just like
a lot more free.
Yeah, but it's a very liberating thing to not care what people think of you,
and that's gonna come with age.
Yeah, that does come with age. Most people don't ever get that.
You just got to find yourself.
Well, and it was funny because you have these conversations with people, and it's just like I could tell you've really grown as a person because you were just doing your own thing, and that's why we bring up our homie Seth all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't even known him for too long.
Yeah.
But like to see the steps that he takes.
That much growth in
little short of time is incredible to me. But he's not somebody I would think would have a big ego because I think he's someone who's just like, I may have been told no a few times. Sucks. Right. But does it actually maybe I'm contradicting myself because maybe that is a little bit of an ego to not care.
I think there's actually, now that we're talking about it, I think there might be two different. Like, I think there's ego. No. I think there's ego, and I think there's egotistical.
Okay.
Now, you cannot have an ego, but you can be egotistical at some time. Okay. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, like, elaborate a little bit more.
Like, you might be a humble person, but you brag a lot.
Okay.
You feel me? You're not, like, you're humble, like, you're a good dude, but
you'll let niggas know if you're better.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of egotistical, but that's not really.
So what do you think of deals like this? Because like I've been known to do this. I'm not really bragging about shit, but I'm talking things into fruition, and I'm also in the process of talking. I'm thinking of other ideas, so I'm kind of thinking out loud while conversing. And I do this with Seth a lot because he kind of does it back with me. He's like talking about doing this, and doing that, but he's really just thinking and plotting.
My thing is,
I don't find that as an egotistical thing. That's
just working out ideas. I don't see that as. Yeah, that's just brainstorming. And
I'm just saying because sometimes it might come off as like bragging because.
But no, it's just how you say it and what the opposite end is. So. If I'm like, man, I'm the best at this. I'm the best at this, and I'm also the best at this. And then you like, well, I'm the best at this. I'm like, oh, good, but I'm also the best at this. Like it's not a trade. It's just I'm just letting you know what I'm doing, and I don't really give a shit about what you're.
I don't have
into.
a problem with people proclaiming themselves to be super dope at something if you really are.
The
problem is a lot of people
if
aren't that dope
about it.
A lot of people aren't that dope at the particular thing they think they're great at,
and that's annoying. It's so annoying,
and that's kind of like a clouded, jaded type of thing. I don't like being around people like that. Like,
but I know some humble people that do that. And I just be like, I wish you didn't. Like, you're a good person. Like, don't do that, man.
Like, it's like when you look at somebody, maybe like a Kanye, because people are always just like, he's a creative genius, which he is. He's very creative musically.
An arrogant bastard.
Yeah, he's very creative musically, but I don't think that's an excuse to be an asshole to people.
No, it's not. And a lot of things he bitches about are self-inflicted. Like, people, all the designers not letting his creative whatever ideas come into whatever deal he's making. I bet you is an asshole to them at one point.
And it's very
in the decision making.
Speaking of Kanye, how the fuck did everybody get Yeezys? I've been got a pair of Yeezys since the beginning.
I told you earlier, man. The smaller the foot, the easier to get.
No, you're gonna have to sign up for the next ones right now,
bro. I already been, bro. I signed up like last year.
But when it comes to somebody like a Kanye West, when you were talking about the whole art thing, it's like we live in the greatest era ever, I think, right now. Just go make your own thing. And he did it to his credit. Just go do your own thing. Don't wait for these people to come to you.
Especially if you got the bread.
To come to you. You know what I'm saying?
Especially
like,
if you got the bread.
Yeah, force them to have to acknowledge
Speaking of Kanye's
you.
shoes, bro, he has just released the most dad-looking shoe ever.
Really?
They're horrible.
Are you talking about the Wave Runners or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are ugly.
Yeah, I don't like none of those. I don't like none of the rafts. None them shits look like
ugly.
Like just
he just put his name on there and be like, designer, buy it. Like, why?
Like, I get it. They're trying to sell the idea. Like, I don't know if y'all. I mean, y'all probably not into that. Yeah, but then like, I don't know if y'all follow like the Balenciaga campaign. Like, Balenciaga, they got like this whole like where it's just look like you're campaigning for a president or a senator. So it's literally like a plain ass polo with a little flag in the corner and Balenciaga under it. That fucking shirt is like $900.
Well, that's just like Polo's been doing that for years, though. Polo's literally been selling the same shit for years.
But that's polo. Like that's their
that's
style.
what I'm saying. Yeah, right.
Like Balenciaga's just slapping their name on shit.
Same with Supreme.
Yeah, like Supreme too.
I'm getting a little fed up with Supreme, bro. Like I sell Supreme shit, but
I think I'm falling out of all the hype beast stuff, bro. Because it's literally hype beast. Like it used to be. It used to be like, oh man, you got that. Oh, I know you had to go through a journey for that. But now everybody just like, long as it's a show of money now.
Yeah. It defeats the purpose to me when it's like, okay,
it's not even unique.
This was dope to get.
No,
and
it reminds me of high school when everybody had the same places to shop.
Dog,
when every single person
had like a dope shirt. Where'd you get that? Everybody showed up with the same shirt.
Yeah, famous straps. When everybody was wearing Famous back in high school.
Oh my god! Famous has the same thing.
Wow, haven't heard that in so long.
Almost not designer, but when it first came out, I was like, oh my god, Did Barker have something to do with that?
Yeah, it was Travis Barker. I think he started that up. Look, and it's like, I understand wanting to be an individual, but that's the whole point, is to be an individual.
Yeah.
Like when everybody's wearing something, sometimes I'm just like, all right. Well, how about
I guess that's kind of normal though. Like,
it's human nature to want to be a part of.
Yeah, you don't want to be left out.
Yeah, but sometimes growing up a little.
Ego?
I think maybe an ego is saying, well, fuck what everybody else is doing. I'm going to do me.
But then you'll get labeled as a loner and an emo or like whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
because like you were saying before, like everybody had on the famous straps and stuff. Yeah. But then when you seen the dude who had on like something different, like we kind of called him weird. Right. But now today we'd be like, oh no, he dope. He doing his own
cool
thing
now.
Like
weird is
I remember
cool.
back in
weird is normal.
Nerds are cool. Like it's
weird,
so weird.
To me, weird is normal.
Everybody's weird. That's what you really got to figure out, especially these like insecure people. That's the one thing that you got to know about yourself. Weird is normal. Everybody is weird in their own way. Yeah, so for somebody or anybody that said that they're not weird and call you weird for doing something stupid, it's just a joke. It's just like, are you serious?
The same people
what makes you normal?
The same people who be like, yo, that person's weird for eating ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I don't know.
All right, that's a little.
Is that something you ain't experienced yet? Hey,
the look on Cassie's face. I don't eat ass. Yo, she wanted to say something so bad.
Alpha might have eaten ass before.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it for my wife.
My thing is that weird.
I said my wife.
We all threw under the mic.
Who told you from day one that you would eat your wife's ass?
And I lied. And I said,
and today you say...
Actually, I didn't lie at the time. I didn't think I'd ever would.
But you fucking know you will.
I said I'd be open to it. That's still not even saying...
Open.
Yeah, that's true.
That's still not...
You're eating your wife's ass.
Like, I'm not into the ass eating, but I've never... To like, that point, even eating vagina. Back in fucking 15,
if you would have asked me at 15...
Never.
No.
That shit is disgusting.
Yeah, at 15?
I'm like, nigga, where's the napkin? Give me a bib. Let's get down to it.
I thought you meant 2015. I was like, what?
Hell no.
2 years ago,
nigga.
Wait, serious question. Have you guys ever gone down on somebody and immediately regretted it when you were already down there?
No.
Like had that fishy pussy smell?
No. Thankfully.
I've sneezed on the vagina.
I didn't mean to turn this into a sex still. Like, we're going back to ego.
We'll go back to
I really wanted to make a joke.
But I'm very conscious about who I go. Like, some girls seem like blowjobs is like, whoa. That's how I see eating vagina.
Is that your ego?
I see like, whoa.
Curtis says, I love eating vagina.
I do, but it has to be like my girl. I eat that motherfucker all day, but it ain't like
Bashir would not be proud of you right now.
I'm not just doing that on some one night stand, or if I only know you for a month, I'm not doing it.
Sorry.
I'm not
doing it. I feel like that's Bashir's cup of tea, though. If he was here, he'd argue. You know how much he loves eating.
Food's supposed to be here for
this. Back to the whole ego thing. Bashir's a weird dude.
Yeah. You know what? Bashir got a big ego. But even with that, though,
he knows
that's himself. That's his.
Ooh, it might come from that then.
Yeah. But even with his ego, though,
that's what they say. Ego comes from the brain.
I say not his ego, but even with him being weird, I appreciate that because he's for as long as I've known him, he's just been a weird guy.
Yeah,
open,
but extremely open. Yeah. And most people aren't like that. Most people aren't like that. Yeah. Most people.
Shout out to Bashir. First ego check is saying what you fear, what your insecurity is. That's the first.
Well, no, and I got better at that. The fact that I can just come out here openly and say, yeah, I'd be open to eating my wife's ass, not a random or just a frivolous thing. I'm saying open to doing that because Cassie's mad because the first time she asked me that, it was probably 2 years ago. I was like, absolutely not. But I thought about it some more, and I was like, maybe. I'm not guaranteeing
so
it.
Your ego got lessened.
Well, yeah, and it's also being like,
she's
okay.
over it.
Well, but
open
that's
to
like
new
when
things, I
girls,
guess.
when girls, I mean, going back to the whole sex talk thing, that's like when girls say stuff out loud because they feel like that's what guys want to hear. It's feeding into their ego.
This is shade.
True that.
Shade.
That was like I
was actually going to tie it back into like in general because I think that's where a lot of people boost their ego. Is like, if I talk about something that other people want to hear about, then that's
what's fucking annoying to me because I have been that person who's like, maybe I should just do this because that's what people are doing. But I was doing that at like 14, 15. Not at 25, right? Let me not age myself.
Yeah, it's time
not
to
at
switch
25. All right, like I think for myself now, you're not going to tell me what to do and think I'm going to do it. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. If I don't want to do something, I'm not.
And that's the worst.
That could be considered egotistical a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's the worst is when you see a group of people with a big ego, like a group of friends. Like let's just say like example, like maybe some jocks. Let's say 3-4 jocks, and they all got big egos, jocks. And they just feed off each other.
Bro, you know what?
That shit is so miserable.
I hate grown people, like a group of grown men with fucking egos. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna say the story right now. Soul Classics, bro. I walk into Soul Classics. I walk into Soul Classics.
Hold on, before you tell the story,
yikes, bro. I'm on your side, bro.
I walk, bro, because those niggas think they are the shit. They think they are God's get to earth, bro. Just because I'm rocking some fucking billionaire boys club shit with some Vans on.
Let me put my disclaimer out. Wow. I'll fuck with Soul Class. It's certain cats in there who started that I knew from a long time ago that I'm cool with.
So you appreciate
them. Yeah, them specifically.
You don't appreciate. But
there's certain people in there that like. I just get this vibe off that I just do not like, bro. Because it's like, as soon as you walk in, it's like that nose up, like, psh, what you know?
I didn't know y'all had
you ain't got no money to afford this, or why are you in here? You don't really know what you're doing.
I don't know.
And it's just like, bro, I could come in here and buy half the store if I really wanted to, but now I'm not gonna buy shit.
I didn't really know you guys had a beef with the Midwest supplier.
It's not a beef. It's
bro,
just
are they really
suppliers?
Bro, hold on. I could tear that store apart right now.
I know what they do. To piggyback off of what Driss said,
I'm liking this.
There's been times where I've walked in and I'm like, you're walking your shop around. Maybe you don't see anything that you like. All right, you walk out and they just kind of like
snark.
They may not say anything, but there's kind of like the
vibe.
Yeah,
it's the
like,
vibe, bro.
Dog,
First of all, they don't even try to help you or nothing.
That shit. That shit happens when you walk in.
Yeah.
That's like equivalent to girls going into like Michael Kors or like Coach or something. You go in and you might not really see a purse that you like, and you walk out and they give you kind of the stank face, and you're like, maybe your store just stinks. Maybe
it's
like,
really I don't need an assortment of Vans today. Maybe I was looking for and I don't fuck with your Pumas. So
I know Driss worked in retail. I don't know if anybody else did, but I'm a big because I worked for Devereaux, I worked for Express.
You worked for Devereaux?
Yeah, for years.
I used to go to Devereaux all the time, bro. Back in the day.
But yeah, like I'm really big on like customer service, bro. I really feel like if you can just browse in somewhere and not even be planning on buying shit, but if that person is so helpful, so into what you're doing, so just and just helpful, bro.
Yeah.
You might end up spending $200 just because that dude really showed interest in what you're trying to do.
You know who are the worst at retail is people in a fucking like the bong store, the glass shops, bro. They are the worst salespeople ever.
You know what though? But like I feel like bonds and stuff, they
act
sell
like
themselves.
You're not supposed to be in there, bro. All of them.
You shouldn't. Half the shit is there is smoking weed, bro. Right. That shit's illegal, bro.
But still, they act like, oh god, you can't touch this shit. Like they act like almost make you afraid to be in
it's
there.
It's like,
bro.
these dudes, some of these dudes, I'm not talking about Soul Classics particularly, but like that work retail, they brown nose you. It's like, dog, you make like $12 an hour. Like, not to shit on people. It's not to shit on people that make, but it's like, don't be disrespectful. Yeah, it's like, don't be disrespectful to us, bro. Like, and that's not a referendum on.
And to touch on the other thing, I mean,
like,
I know Sumie about to jump in, but on the opposite end of that, I could be going somewhere like specifically to this store. Like, man, I want to go to this store and show support and spend $300. Right. But it'll be that customer service where I'll be like, I'm not buying shit now.
Mm-hmm. And it's just disrespectful. Like, come on, nobody told you to work there.
Well, your job is to sell me something, first of all.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't fucking shit on me as soon as I walk in with your eyes. You ain't even got to do it with your mouth.
And body motion.
See, now, when it comes to Soul Classics, I don't know if I've had too terrible of a time. I do know that when I've walked in there, they do have that sort of.
I've honestly never been there.
Never been to Soul Classics? It's a cool
I've
store.
been in there, and I feel like I even get looks. Like I'm not about to buy anything in here.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what sucks. Like, I'll be wanting to go in there and buy shit.
Don't get me wrong,
because
I've heard
they
about
keep
it.
the city. They're different. They're good for the city.
It is.
But it's just like, man, y'all got a couple joints, cancer cells in there, bro.
So bad salespeople.
Damn, we took a dump on Soul Classics.
I love Soul Classics. I love the idea of Soul Classics.
I think that idea, because it's a store that you would definitely see out in New York.
That's
LA.
what I was about to ask.
You would not get
New York.
to see
It's
that.
like in
first
LA.
real
It's
like African American owned boutique.
But it's like because they
So
only
they
have
buy
one of
materials
everything.
from other
It's like
things.
one
Yeah,
of
that's
everything.
why.
They don't
Yeah,
have like
exactly.
different sizes. It's
That-
one of everything.
That's
one
why.
large.
That's why they called them.
And it's their. I mean, they carry other stuff, but the city really shows love to their brand,
And
that's what's dope.
And I know they do the Arch City thing where
Yeah.
it's, I don't
That's
know.
what's dope, because usually when you go to the boutique, it's because you want to get to see if they got the new Yeezys or new Takma or something like that. But if you're going for specifically their brand, that's even more fire, bro. That's love.
and it's dope shit. That's why I'm saying when because I do support it from time to time, but I do it online. I don't really go in the store.
Ah, see, yeah.
Well,
I like the fly vibe.
I was going to come back to, because I was thinking about this when you guys were talking about it, but you know, like those people, we were talking about like ego, having a big ego, they're really attracted to negativity. And one of the, I think, situations I was thinking about is when you kind of gossip, your group of friends, you gossip, everybody does it, but there's always that one person that just pulls you back into the gossip. Always. It's like they can't talk about anything else, and that's all they want to go off of. And it is a form of insecurity, because they like hearing about the negativity of somebody else, which is boosting their ego. So they're so attracted to negativity.
You're right about that.
Because it's always that person that's, going back to this, like, remember when so-and-so did that, and the whole group is kind of like, I thought we were done.
Yeah,
like,
or it's
you
just
vent.
like, I don't remember that.
That happens quite often too.
Yeah, but it's the people that like hearing about it because it's something bad about somebody, which makes you feel better about yourself. You just
nigga.
Driss just handed Curtis a Kool-Aid jammer.
Kool-Aid jammer.
I see one of these.
That's not a jammer.
Yeah, it's a Kool-Aid jammer.
Those aren't jammers. The jammers were the ones with the see-through, back. Bro.
Oh shit! I haven't had Kool-Aid in so fucking long.
He has the grape ones too.
But yeah, to piggyback off of what
They're the plastic bottle.
to piggyback off of what Sumie was saying, yeah, it is. I mean, when people are constantly focused on the negative, I love the conversations that people have when they're just talking about their ideas and what their goals are. I think those are always so interesting to me. Like, because me and Chris had a convo Wednesday, like we were at the Blue Jackets game. We just had a convo about like,
I'm going with y'all to the next one, man.
Oh, bro, they're fun.
I'm so down.
They're fun. We scalp tickets and
I'm so
everything.
Well, but I mean, even an
Cocky.
example would be like us after the podcast. Obviously, nobody hears us, but I feel like we always bring up like one person that we thought of during the podcast on a topic, but then we move on to the next idea. We don't dwell on, feeding off of negativity.
And it's not
about
like
somebody.
It's more of a
we're
concern.
not shitting on. Yeah,
I
we're
think
not
it's more of a
shitting on
concern
them.
more often than not.
We're not shitting on
as it
them. I
is.
mean, if your actions were stupid, we were just talking about your actions. We weren't shitting on you.
Well, I'll tell you to your face if your actions were dumb.
But what I'm saying is everybody has that one person in their group of friends that just feeds and thrives off of negative energy and just loves hearing shit about everybody.
But
and
usually
will
they
always,
end up getting winged out, though.
But this
they
is
do, but that's also when their egos hurt the most.
This is
because
what
they're
I-
like, why did I get shunned? I thought the conversation wasn't about me.
Damn,
But this is why-
ego is blinding, bro.
It is very blinding.
But this is
And
why
it'll make you.
This is why I say.
Make
You
you
do
go
dumb
solo.
shit. Dumb shit, too.
This is why
Yeah.
I say though, like I'd rather people just tell me,
Call you out?
Yeah, like, yo, dog, you fucked up there. Because it's like,
Me too.
Because I've gotten to the point now where it's like, I know I'm gonna probably do some things that may rub you the wrong way or piss you off. I'm not intentionally doing
know.
that, but let me know so I can correct it. Because I'll at least take it in and be like, well, maybe let me put myself in their shoes and how that could have affected them.
Right.
And then that's how I come to like realize, oh yeah, I fucked up.
But there's plenty of friends that won't tell you to your face because they enjoy going around and telling everybody else about what you did
And that's
rather
what
than
I'm so
confronting
against.
you.
That's a different type of ego.
That's what I'm so
Yeah.
against. That's
It
what I'm
is.
so
It is.
against.
It is.
See, I feel like
There's a word for that. Like,
all right, I'm gonna try to make this quick, but I feel like when you have that conversation, if there's one friend that's fucking up, and that those friends are having a conversation about what they're doing, I feel like those friends gotta iron it out, like what he's doing or what she's doing, iron it out, and then bring it to him. Don't just go straight to them because you might not have collected thoughts. So if you got to bounce thoughts off your other friends and then be like, we all agree.
I agree.
Let's tell them.
I agree.
Well,
I agree.
Versus each different one going and saying, you do this, you doing this wrong. You and
agree.
Then, and then they feel like,
they're
fuck
attacked.
you.
Yeah, they're just feeling like
and
they're
then
attacked.
sometimes that can crush you, or sometimes that can inflate your ego so big
I feel
you
like
burst.
There's a reason why you have like a friend group, and like to go if you fuck up with a one friend, you can go around and ask the other friends like what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like come there. Like,
True.
Because there's a certain way to deal with certain friends. You know that. Like there's a certain way to deal with them.
Absolutely, and that's why you need to talk to the people in the friend
that
group
knows it the best.
To what you were saying, talk to people in the friend group. Be like, what would be the appropriate way to not offend this person, but to let them know, yo, you got to switch up the way you're operating.
Right,
bro. Yep, and that's why I'm saying, like, even if it is a conversation that maybe we are having about somebody, I usually try to be on the side, like, well, let's tell them. Yeah. Or let's tell her.
Play devil's advocate.
Yeah,
or see where they're coming from. Because my thing is, it's easy to just be like, this person's fucking up.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, well, why are they? There's always a reasoning as to why people act the way they act.
Absolutely.
You just got to try to dig deeper as to why they act.
It always ties back into ego too. That's the reason why, I mean, I'm not going to brag, but I'm so introspective about myself. Literally every conversation that I have with every different person, I'm evaluating how I did it or what I said, or did I go a different way, or, oh yeah, this went good. And literally everybody all day. So I usually know if I fucked up somewhere. Yeah. But if I don't know, I definitely need somebody to be like, hey man, that was kind of fucked up what you said, or grimy. And then I'll be like, damn, I missed it.
Yeah. And then that's why you need people to check you sometimes.
Yeah,
but that's also social awareness, because people who have big egos have no social awareness.
Yes.
It's like, when does a conversation stop about being about you? You know what I mean? Whether it's good or bad.
We all know those people who only talk about themselves.
Well, there's people that either like to be praised or they like to be pitied. And there's those two separate types of people with different types of self-esteem.
I'd rather deal with the pity person. I hate talking I like a conversation. I don't like talking.
I think
talking is like I'm talking and I'm just wait. Now when you start I'm just waiting to talk again. Yeah. You're just talking, now I'm just waiting to talk again. Oh, blah blah blah. Versus we're exchanging
that's
something.
talking at each other versus
I hate
with
that
each
shit.
other.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. There's
crazy.
two separate types of people, because there are some people where every story is just about them, and it's not even
so
relevant
annoying.
half the time. It's just
Exactly.
they were looking for a time to tell you the story.
I meet a lot more guys and girls that are like that. They're like males that like to talk about themselves doing shit back in the day.
Oh, there's plenty of girls though.
I know a lot of girls, but like,
I think it's pretty even on both sides.
I think it's pretty even.
Probably even, but
I think I've met more
It's
girls
just about who
like
you're
that,
around. It's just about who you're around, who you hear from.
You said you thought you meet.
I think I meet more girls like that though.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
honestly, I think I meet more guys.
See, I think
that's what I'm saying.
I think it might be more. What you said was spot on. A lot of guys go off of like, man, back in the day, I used to do this, that, and the third.
Blah.
I hear
just
that a
now.
lot.
That's just reminiscent.
Some people talk
though.
like that now. Like, man, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And it's like, I didn't ask you.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
That's true.
No, but I mean, so I think a lot of dudes do reminisce, but they glorify their days. Like, yo, you're back in high school.
Like, how big's a fish really? You ever heard that?
Yeah.
But you know,
fisherman.
that's funny, because I think there's a lot of girls that do the exact opposite, whereas like, oh, back in the day I was this, I sucked in this, and now I'm like, I had a nice glow up. You know what I mean?
So
I
it's
think
always about the
girls,
looks, right?
well, girls always talk about having a glow up, whereas guys are like, yeah, back then, you know,
But
you
it's
should have
always
seen me at my
about the
prime.
looks.
hey, sometimes I agree though, because it was like the nerdy, like kind of lame girls.
Yep.
That's bad now. Like, damn.
You ever meet a
missed
girl
out.
who like literally wears their like social media on their sleeve? Like, you don't know who I am. I'm so and so from Instagram. I have so and so this many followers. Blah blah. How do you
I
know?
don't think I've actually met
never met
somebody
them.
in person, but
I'm not
going to
say her name, but I've
I
never
see
ever
it.
fought anybody, and you guys know I don't have the guts to do it, but you know who I'm talking about. At the establishment in the bathroom where I came out, and you guys make fun of her all the time. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I know
But
you
there are
talking
literally girls that will introduce themselves as, hi, I'm so and so from social media. You want to hear what my social media name is? Sumo Wrestler. If I introduced myself like that,
That's wild.
that is literally my social media
But
name.
honestly, bro, that's
it happens.
He's
but no.
doing it by the
This is
gamer
what I was
tag.
about to go back to. Everything is an ego check. Even just you making like fun of your name, that puts your ego in its own place.
Right.
I have a foreign ass name, I have to make fun of it sometimes.
But that's what I'm saying. Some people would take that to the head and be like, oh, I'm different and my name is unique, so now I'm better than you. Off top. Versus being like, oh, I'm going to make fun of this funny.
This is the best thing to say right now, coming from one person on the table that has the biggest ego about his name because he thinks it's the best thing ever, Driss, and everything.
See, but at the same time, it's not.
I know he's trolling. Actually, I don't know if you're trolling or not.
You love your name. Get it out. Get it out right now. You love your name, Driss.
It's not that I love my name. I just like the aftermath of like seeing everybody else say when I name shit after myself.
That's part of him being ignorant.
That's just me being ignorant. Yeah, like, I do things just for shock value.
But you still love your name. Don't get it wrong.
But honestly, bro, there's three. I mean, other than me and Nick, there's 3 different names here that you kind of should be proud of. They're different. Right. They stand out. We got somebody named Sumie.
Yeah.
You're never going to really...
Sumie.
Bro, this is the first one that I've ever met.
It's an Indian name,
It's the first
sure.
Driss I've ever met. And it's the first person, Alpha. Like, Alpha is so... That's a man's name.
You know what's funny though is that I hated my name.
I bet you did.
Because it was so different.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just I would always get either a joke after, like, hey, your name's the first letter in the Greek alphabet. Like, yeah, I've never heard that before.
Or they'd be like Omega.
Yeah,
where's Omega at?
I've never heard. It's like, do you have a sister named Omega? Like, nah. Or a sister named Beta? Like, that's hilarious.
Definitely. Growing up, I hated my name. Like, as a little kid, I hated my name because at the first day of school, my name would always be followed with a question mark. Like, and they're not ever sure.
Yeah, like,
no, it's Idrissa.
Shit! I never knew that.
Idrissa.
His full name is Idrissa.
It's Idrissa.
Yeah,
Idrissa with an I.
My parents call me Idris. My parents call me
everything
like the
under the
actor.
sun.
Like the phenomenal actor Idris Elba, who's criminally underrated as an actor.
Criminally underrated.
He hates that nigga.
Criminally underrated.
He hates that nigga.
That's my favorite
To this
actor.
day, your mom always... I've never heard her pronounce your name without her sounding angry at you, bro. It's so hilarious.
I hear it all the time, too, and I'm just like...
It's so hilarious to me.
Now that we talking about, I think that's like a first step to like who you are. Is like, say if you got a different name, it creates a certain path
that definitely
for you,
brands
bro.
you.
Oh yeah.
Because my name is Curtis, but it's spelled so fucking stupid that I get clowned. My name is Curtis.
Spelled...
It's Curtesis.
Oh, what? It's Curtis? Or...
See? Now imagine.
I never knew that.
Imagine on the intercom, Curtesis Vaughn, can you come down? Curtesis Vaughn, can you come down?
Yeah.
Like, everybody would be like, oh, what's up, Curtesis? Oh, Curtesis? Like, bro, I've been hearing that all my life, and it just creates a certain path for you.
Do you think that's why a lot of black people name their kids like
Something fucked up.
Something fucked up. Like, I wasn't gonna say that.
Well, I'll say it. Shit.
No, I'll say it too.
It looks like something like
it do be fucked up. Like it be
like Key and Peele said the best. It looks like some of them just throw some letters in a bucket and just shake that shit around.
But you know what though? In high school, if you think about it, like you get so nervous like hearing your name called out because you don't want to stand out. But now you're like, I'm ready to stand out.
Yeah,
now you don't
that's
care.
What I'm saying. It
now
builds a certain character.
I love correcting people on my name now because I'm like, I haven't heard that.
It
That's
builds
pretty.
a certain character.
I don't fucking think it's pretty, but you do because it's different.
Is that the building of your ego though?
Yeah, but it's
I think
okay.
that's a good.
You have to
thing.
understand ego.
That's why I said it keeps your ego in check.
I have the best story. I have the best story because my mom's name is Chastity. Not chastity, like the chastity belt. So she would always get made fun of for like, chastity belts are for virgins.
I've been calling your mom
blah.
that for the longest time. I thought it was chastity.
No, it's chastity. C-H.
Oh, chastity.
Yeah,
Not chastity.
C-H-A-S-I-T-Y, like it should be. I don't know why they put that stutter in the middle of the two T. Chastity.
You better defend your mom.
But you know what though? Ego is different. Okay, ego is literally just your self-esteem or self-awareness. But having a big ego is different than just
having a
ego.
normal,
Just having
self-esteem.
ego because everybody has ego, but it's when you have a big ego. You should build up your ego. That's part of when you get comfortable with your foreign name and you're okay with people mispronouncing it and being like, oh, it happens all the time. Versus scooting down in your chair and being like, fuck, I know I'm next on the alphabet. Like they're about to say my name. Now I'm like, when people hand out the checks, we always say in a joking way. It's different.
I think I don't know how I'm gonna, I don't know how to put it. I think ego. I think it should be small at all times. See, I understand what you're saying, but I don't feel like that's sometimes your ego will get you through certain situations. Like it can be used for an emergency.
But the definition of ego is your self-esteem.
Let's get everybody's
That's all
last
what
words
ego
on this
is.
one.
I think you need to have a little bit of ego because that's self-esteem, self-confidence, but it's when it blows up.
But I think
it's when it blows up.
So when it gets past confidence, that's when
it gets to false confidence.
When
you're not really actually confident, and it's when you're putting on a facade.
That's a good point.
You're super egotistical to hide some shit.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
False confidence.
That's the same thing when you look at people like Donald Trump or Kanye or they're the more insecure people.
But there's a lot of
because
sports
I don't
athletes.
think Donald Trump wakes up every morning excited to run the country. I think he gets scared shitless and says whatever's going to stick on the wall.
Yeah,
and what America believes is going to say.
Nobody wants nobody
but
making
that's
fun
false
of it.
confidence. Did I think that he was probably excited to win? No, he was like, "This is going to be great," but he's also probably every day like, "I don't fucking know what I'm doing."
And nobody wants to be made fun of. And if you get made fun of too many times, you're just a dog in a corner. You're gonna bite back.
Right.
Exactly, but that's
I'm not
what I mean.
defending the fuckhead,
Having a big ego means like false confidence. That's what I define as a big ego.
Well, yeah,
everyone needs to have an ego because you have to
Curtis said when you're getting attacked from all sides, sometimes you're just gonna bark back. I get that,
and that's not ego. I don't think that's ego. I think that's why I said your ego can be used. Your ego can be used for an emergency.
You can do some crazy shit with it though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you can go overboard.
Like Donald Trump has done multiple fucking times. So
now that's egotistical. Though.
Yeah. You just got to
he's
use
a sociopath.
You got to use.
Right.
I think that's what it is.
Basically, what you guys are saying, you guys got to use your ego responsibly.
Responsibly.
Great ego. With great ego,
I think that's
exactly. With great ego comes great responsibility.
But I wanted to touch on just a quick book, guys.
Thank you.
The topic came from this book that I'm reading called Ego is an Enemy by Ryan Holiday. So if y'all can all check that out. I've read it like 6 times now. So it's like really one of my favorite
principles
books.
In that. Like,
it just shows you how to check it.
Okay.
What it actually is, where it stems from.
How to check yourself.
Yeah, like bro, I fucking love this book, bro. I love it. I've read it like 6 times about 2 years.
That's another thing. People need to learn
years.
how to check themselves.
Bro, you know what?
You need to learn to wake up about yourself.
I do love my name, Nick. You're right.
Hell yeah, I told you.
I'm sitting here thinking like all the shit I did in my past. I remember in senior year in high school, I bought fish, and I named them as a unit, Driss.
Yeah. You named 3 fish as a unit, Driss.
That's funny as fuck.
All right, so to transition from talking about ego, we're going to talk about some artists that may be egotistical, but they have a right to be because there's some pretty legendary people.
Going 70s or 2000s.
Was that your attempt of a smooth segue?
All right, last one we did what? We did
the 80s and the 90s.
80s and the 90s. We compared the 80s and the 90s.
And I think the consensus was we were going to rock with the 90s.
Yeah.
But we put up the argument.
Yeah.
The 80s had more legendary.
All right, so who reading
artists.
off this time? Driz read off last time.
I'll read them because I don't want people fucking commenting after every song saying,
yeah, we was going in.
Yeah, I was listening back. I was like, damn, all right, I get it. Y'all know these songs. Like, so what we can do is, if Driss, you want to rerun one, that's fine. We're gonna start with the 70s.
All right, you start with the 70s. I want to do the 2000s, bro.
All right, that's cool.
Let's rock it.
Yeah, let's do it real quick.
And from the where the fuck you at this year with your stupid ass soundboard,
we didn't have the soundboard this week.
Bashir, you son of a bitch.
Ah, man.
Well, sure misses these days, bro.
From the top in no particular order, right?
Yeah, this is from the top, no particular order.
Yeah.
We have
70s music.
70s. Just My Imagination, The Temptations, What's Going On, Marvin Gaye, Let's Stay Together, Al Green, Rock With You, Michael Jackson, Close the Door, Teddy Pendergrass, For the Love of You.
Teddy Pendergrass down.
Yeah. For the Love of You, the Isley Brothers, Always and Forever, Heat Wave, Superstition, Stevie Wonder, What Would You Do for Love, Bobby Caldwell.
Damn.
We Are a Family by Sister Sledge.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fire.
I don't know if you guys know. It's Too Late by Carole King. Have you guys ever heard that song?
Sing it, hum it.
Well, I don't want to hum it, but I'm saying it was the #1 record in the country for like 9 weeks.
All right, man, if I heard it.
Shout out to Carole King, legendary songwriter. What a Fool Believes, Doobie Brothers. Easy by the Commodores. That's why I'm easy.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, my bad. I had to sing that one out.
That shit is, that was
September.
Big. That was a big record.
September, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh,
September, Fire.
Huge. I think that's the hugest one on the list.
Lean on Me, Bill Withers.
Oh.
Isn't She Lovely, Stevie Wonder.
Oh shit!
Still don't compare to the September.
Ain't No Mountain High, Diana Ross.
I'm about to go home, man. I can't handle
You have to
this.
leave the room.
I can't handle this.
Midnight Train to Georgia, Gladys Knight.
Yeah, Gladys. Shout out to Gladys.
They got it. They win.
Yo, Sweet Things, Shaka Khan, and Boogie No More by
Shaka Khan was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't-
Yeah,
And
bro.
if you guys actually heard
That's
the
crazy.
you guys actually, you know what Sweet Thing by Shaka Khan is?
I mean, yeah.
If I played it, you guys would know. But we're not, I don't think we're allowed to play music. But
Damn.
that wraps up the 1970s.
Can I read the list?
All right, Nick wants to read the list. DJ World Record.
Let's go.
Well, and actually, it might be better if Nick reads it because Driss will sing after every song.
We can't have that. All right, we have the Queen up first. This is no particular order, by the way. This is the 2000s.
2000 to
Top 10.
2010.
This is
yeah.
probably about to be my favorite.
No particular order. The Queen's first, Crazy in Love.
Ooh.
Who's the queen?
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
I know. I just wanted him to say. You got to say the artist's
Queen
name. Nick.
Bee, damn it.
All right.
All right. You Don't Have to Call by Usher. Oh my
Ooh,
God.
That's one of my favorite. That's probably my all-time favorite Usher track.
Great. That's a
All
great song.
time, bro.
That's a great song.
Hey, we
is a
got
great
Usher
song.
coming in already
All time.
again. Confessions.
Oh,
I like part 2 better,
Yeah.
but that's all
I
right.
mean, the thing is,
I like You Don't Have to Call.
Actually,
That's my favorite song.
It was
Yeah,
part
bro.
2 that I was talking
all
about.
right,
I just
that's what
didn't
I
write
have
it
to
in.
say. Confessions part 2. All right, this is a Ignition remix.
Time out.
by
Can I ask you a question?
Ooh,
Was there
fire.
actually an Ignition
Yeah.
Yes.
remix? I
You never heard the
I
original?
don't think I've
It was
ever heard
not
the
remixed.
original.
You know,
better.
back then the remixes was always
Right.
bigger than
That's
so
what
it
I'm
seemed
saying.
like they came out first.
I don't ever remember
Ignition
the
was
original.
not as good as
The original's
song.
alright.
I've never heard
the
the
remix
original.
is better.
I've
But
never-
anyway, Ignition remix by R. Kelly. Fallen by Alicia Keys.
oh! I was this
That
close to
was
singing.
that
I was this
shit.
close to singing.
That was that shit. Charlene and
Anthony Hamilton.
Anthony Hamilton. Okay.
Y'all don't know
That's
it's
my shit.
Charlene?
You know Charlene.
I didn't know this one either when I was
you know
reading it, but
Charlene.
now I
You know
remember it.
Charlene.
Now I
That's a
remember it.
legendary
Y'all know
song.
Charlene.
That's his biggest
know.
song. I'll play it after for you.
You
Whatever.
notice
We
if you
can't
put
play it on
Anthony
here.
Hamilton on any hook, it's fire.
He's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, he's fire on the hooks.
All right. Ordinary People, John Legend.
Oh, which is
Now that
Ordinary
changed some
People.
shit. He was on the piano and shit. He was hard. He was in the music. Oh, you guys didn't even catch. Justin Timberlake, Rock Your Body.
Woo, JT boy.
You got some
That's my
joints on here
guy.
too.
That's my guy.
Woo. Another Queen joint by Beyonce, of course, Irreplaceable.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave off Beyonce.
Yeah,
records.
yeah.
Oh, Nelly, Dilemma with Kelly Rowland. That was a
Oh.
hard
I
joint.
think Kelly
that.
Rowland might be the baddest
Dilemma.
dark skinned chick.
Do I remember that?
Kelly Rowland.
Yes,
You think what?
she's the baddest dark skinned chick.
We'll leave that debate for another show.
I agree.
You think so? All right.
Yes.
I've been rocking with Kelly, bro, so
I mean,
long.
she's,
Yeah.
All
she's
right.
gorgeous.
All right.
Gabrielle getting a
slow-
little bit too skinny for me.
You know she's like 40.
Okay, we don't care. Come on, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can we get back to the list?
Yeah,
Back to the list. Slow Down by Bobby Valentino, otherwise known as Bobby V now. I don't know why.
Bobby took a L this year though.
Yeah, did he actually fuck that tranny?
You
Or-
fucked a
It,
tranny.
it don't even matter.
Ain't he bald headed now? I think he's bald-headed.
The scene was enough.
What was
like it
it?
don't even
There's-
matter. You
there's-
didn't see
there's
it?
pictures.
Where that nigga ran down the hallway?
What? Wait, Bobby ran on the.
Bruh. I mean, not to jump off that topic,
Jeez.
but it was the trans dude. But Bobby was over his house. I guess they got done fucking. Bobby ain't got no pants on. So the trans dude literally got his phone on Bobby like, this is Bobby Valentino in my house. Boom, boom. He don't want to pay me. Da-da-da. So he like hiding his face. He get outside and he just runs down this long ass hallway. And the dude like, Bobby, you forgetting your pants and your keys. You better come back or you ain't gonna get it if you don't get my money. Boom,
I feel like
boom.
Bobby Valentino looked like a lot of people, so I
He
don't
took a
believe
fucking
it.
L. No, this dude, that was Bobby, bro. You know, Bob got that like round baby face with his little
I guess, but
mustache and shit.
Slow
It was
Down,
him, bro.
Slow Down was a good record.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Damn.
It definitely was.
So sick.
You gotta
by-
watch the video,
so
bro. That
sick
shit was
by
so
Neo
funny.
made this man's
Oh,
career.
yeah.
They
True
made
that,
it.
True that.
And that was
true
the
that.
biggest record on
True
here, I
that.
think.
Closer was hard
All right,
too.
let's get through the list
All
real
right.
quick.
How Does It Feel by D'Angelo. Oh my God, that was Yo by Chris Brown.
Fire.
Bro.
That was like our coming of age.
Yeah, that was Chris Brown
right there.
That was like our coming of age song.
My Boo, Alicia Keys and Usher. That was hard.
That shit was hard. I like
We
that shit.
Belong Together by Mariah Carey.
That was a legendary
it was a
song.
good.
So it was the number one song in the
I like
country
it.
for like 5 months.
I agree.
Yo, come on.
I like it, but I don't like Mariah.
If you're
Carey.
asking me if I like the record, I'd be like, that's whatever.
All right,
I like
Let Me Love You by Mario.
Yeah.
Cry Me a River
Fire.
by the great
Fire.
Justin
Fire.
Timberlake.
JT
Wow.
might have, boy.
Cry Me a River? I hated NSYNC, but I like JT a lot.
JT is fire.
I like Cry Me a River. Single Ladies by the Queen again. Third one on here, Beyonce.
Bro, I'm glad you put that on. That literally changed like a lot in culture, bro.
I want Nick to finish the list real quick.
All right, now the last one's So Gone by Monica.
Yeah. All right.
And then we got an honorable mention. Jasmine Sullivan.
Need You Bad.
Yeah.
What is
bad.
it?
Need You
I
Bad.
need you bad as a heartbeat.
Need
I
You
don't want to
Bad.
be singing
No.
on here. But I left that off because he brought up D'Angelo
Yeah.
right before the show started.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we got to put D'Angelo on. But the point I wanted to make with the Single Ladies Beyonce
That
one.
shit changed culture,
I
bro.
struggled with that solely because, again, what we did the other week was video doper than the song. That video is iconic.
Oh, true that.
Right.
You're right.
No, I
You're
think
right.
the song is huge too,
single
so I
was
left it on.
Huge too.
Yeah, I
but-
think they kind of
Yeah.
they went kind of they meshed.
Because when we were talking about the Thriller music
Bro.
video, that
Yeah,
When
that
you got,
video-
when you got
video
any,
took
any
off. You know what?
single that Beyonce puts
I got
out,
another honorable mention for the 2000s.
hold on, any
okay.
single that anybody puts out that black and white girls are dancing with it at the same time,
Yeah.
like that was a Single Ladies track. Like that was
Yeah,
just
true that.
a woman.
It was just
a woman's song,
such
you know?
a woman empowerment.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's why I said that changed culture, bro.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what really put her like. Oh, she's it.
Well,
Yeah.
she went
She's
from
queen.
She like controls. She sways like honestly how a lot of girls think.
But that's also like all of her lyrics turned out to be like sayings, like put a ring on it. Like how many times do you hear that? All of her
exactly. Yeah,
lyrics
true
became
that.
like the title of a
Or I
meme,
woke up like
basically.
this.
I woke up.
Yeah.
No, a lot of y'all did. Never mind.
Yo, are y'all ready for this honorable mention? Because I feel like Ray J, One Wish, bro.
That was a great record.
That was a great record.
I don't know if it. I don't know if
That's the one he
an
was
honorable
dancing in
I
the
mention.
mean,
rain
if you're
and
gonna
shit,
put
right?
real talk, this is coming from the biggest Chris Brown fan. You're gonna put Yo on there.
Yeah, what other
Yo's
record?
huge.
One Wish.
Yeah, one wish.
What
was
other
fire.
record is?
Yo
what other
was
Chris,
huge.
It
but-
doesn't matter. Like, we're not talking about the overall popularity of the artist in
I
general.
think
We're
we
talking
are,
about.
dude, this
But
is
that
top
Yo
10.
record was a bigger record than
Yeah.
I Wish.
Yeah, that was.
Than,
so?
One Wish.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ain't nobody
Yeah,
running
sure.
back no one wish.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe because Ray
So
J such
somebody
an
might
asshole.
pop into yo here. And
Everybody
there, though.
sing along to Yo.
I
Okay,
sing
so
on the One Wish too.
So
Okay.
what was that like? 7th grade, 8th grade?
I remember.
wait.
I remember it dropping.
My question is, was Hey Ya not in the 2000s?
it was.
There was
But that's
no
not-
Outkast?
It's
Ooh.
on.
It's more rap.
We're doing
It's
this.
more rap.
I mean, it was just.
Oh yeah.
There's a rapper in there.
See how
We're
I get
talking-
passionate too. I'm
we're
like, hey
talking-
man, what about? I'm like,
we're
oh,
talking
yeah,
Yeah, but
strictly
that was not
R&B,
R&B though.
If we're
Outkast
talking-
was not. Was it
They're
Miss
more
Jackson?
rap.
Sorry,
I
Miss
ain't gonna lie.
Jackson.
I put Outkast with rap.
Rap.
Yeah, they're
I
rap.
put them with rap.
That
Yeah.
Speaker Box Love Below album was very melodic and very ahead of his time. I don't think it's.
You could
Hey,
even
Ya-
label that pop nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, Hey Ya was a great record, but I struggled with that
Oh my
too when
God,
we
that
made the
shit
list.
was
I was like, I think
fire.
it's just more
Same
rap.
time, he's a rap artist, so
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Roses.
Genre is
So
3
when it comes
sacks.
to these two lists of the songs that.
How about T Pain though?
Ooh.
Why wasn't T-Pain on
was
there?
the
Good song though.
Bartender, bro.
Better than anything on this list.
Yo,
No,
I'm in love with
I
the
think-
stripper.
Bartender's better than Yo.
I'm in love with the
No.
stripper. Gotta be
Wait a
on
minute,
there.
Wait a minute.
Better than any song
What's
on this
I'm in
list.
love with the stripper was
Yeah.
huge.
That was definitely
Okay,
But
better
that was
than
the opener
Yo.
to like.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in love with a stripper changed culture,
Yeah.
bro.
That was
I say
huge.
T-Pain was
That came
a lot
out.
of
I
2000s.
did.
I
T-Pain changed culture,
Hold on,
bro.
hold on.
I saw him live 2 months ago.
Hold on.
It was amazing.
What?
I distinctly
Where?
remember
Music
"So
festival.
Sick" by Neo
Oh, shit.
coming out the same goddamn time as "I'm in Love with the Stripper."
I'd
The
pick
same
T-Pain
time.
over Chris Brown in the 2000s
I think-
just from
yeah, I
his
think-
tracks that you keep running it back, and it's still. Oh my god! Anytime it comes
I'll
on,
say this though,
And it's so
When we go
nostalgic.
through this list, the 2000s particularly, we are more familiar with a lot of the songs this decade, so
Yeah.
we're gonna think of songs off the like. Well, what about this song? What about this song? What about this song?
Yeah.
we forget though. When I made this list, I'm talking about these songs were, with the exception of maybe not Yo. The Jasmine. Well, we left off the Jasmine Sullivan one. Outside of that, every other song on here was a song. Maybe Charlene by Anthony Hamilton is the one song that you could say we could have left off.
I think T-Pain could have fit in that list somewhere, though.
So you guys would say,
if you're going to give Jasmine Sullivan a
replace one of the Beyonce
definitely
songs.
Deserves to be in there.
But the thing, all right, so
this one. Which one?
Which Beyonce song we should take off?
Irreplaceable.
Oh, that was a big song, John.
I don't know.
Single Ladies and Crazy in
I
Love
liked
are
it.
better.
Was it to the left? To the left?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's Irreplaceable.
Yeah, I kind of liked that.
That's it.
Yo, maybe over Bobby Valentino.
Slow Down.
Bobby V.
That was a big record.
Slow down.
I think what's the name? I think that was bigger than Slow
But
Down.
that was
to
a
me.
rap record, though. It was Wayne's.
Yo,
Okay.
You know what?
So
Shit.
this conversation will last forever if we think about songs that we left off. What I want to do is what decade?
Who we going
Oh,
with?
that was Lil Wayne, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
What decade?
I'm lost.
1970s or the 2000s? What decade do you think had better
That's
songs?
a hard
I mean,
fucking
I
choice.
know we about to get into that, but I'm the biggest. Like, I think since we in that, I think Temptations is the greatest group of all time to me.
So you're gonna go? Are you going 70s?
I'm gonna go with 70s just because of the Temptations.
I'm going with the 1970s as well.
Okay, I'll do my 2 cents and just be honest. I knew a lot of the 70s songs, but not every single one on the list.
Yeah.
I knew every single one on the 2000s, and I can probably sing everything.
Then I got this question for you guys. Just because you may not know the 70s records doesn't mean that they weren't huge records. Because when I said It's Too Late by Carole King, you guys were kind of like, I don't know that one.
Superstition.
That one, that Carole King record was a big time song. I remember watching a documentary that Tom Hanks,
I think September
EP,
is like the biggest one on there.
and he said that he was like, you couldn't go anywhere without people listening to that
the September.
song.
And that's why I said Temptations. Like Temptations, I feel like every song they had was like iconic back then, bro. Every fucking song they had.
I'm just saying, if you go to any club bar and they play any of these 70 songs, they play any of these 70 songs, niggas are going wild. Like,
But the same thing about this list.
This is a good playlist.
But you know what, though? I think a lot of it, and I made this comparison last time, I think a lot of it comes down to what songs are even played in movies continuously. Like the songs that you're always going to hear.
All the 70 songs.
Timeless
that's
music.
what I'm saying. All the time.
Timeless music.
All the time.
And these are too nowadays, like not Usher, but like some of these.
Oh, whoa! What you say about Usher?
No, not played in the movies now.
Oh yeah, they not.
But I mean, my thing is, when
Usher
it
has
came,
never been scored.
here's the thing: when it comes to the 2000s, it's kind of like the
There's some artists that
2000s
can't.
to me are kind of like the 1980s, where the artists are just dominant. Beyonce had a lot of songs I could have put on there. Usher, I could have put the whole Confessions album on that 2000s list if it wasn't for just the biggest songs. But that whole Confessions album was the last maybe major R&B album that dropped.
I wasn't a big fan. I like Confessions.
You didn't like Confessions?
Confessions Part 2.
Okay, can I say something?
I like
though?
old Usher.
That is old Usher.
I mean, it's mid 2000s.
I like
That's when
the,
he
like,
was
when
on top of the
what
world.
was You Don't Have to Call Usher.
That was
was
87. That was
early
8701 was the album. So it was 2001.
Okay,
That was like
that was like my
2001.
favorite
That was like
Usher
my
right
mom
there,
had
bro.
that album.
Can I
I
say
like that.
something?
I liked
album.
that Usher.
My mom had that album. That's when I
8701
learned
was
about
hard.
Usher.
That's probably like my favorite Usher.
You Remind Me was on there.
Yeah,
Like-
you remind me of a
Yeah.
man. That shit was cold.
Yeah.
I might take back what I said earlier because I keep forgetting that we're just doing R&B because there's a difference. If you're saying overall music, I'm gonna pick the 2000s.
We've been
2000s
I'm gonna pick the
overall.
kicking
but
songs
you
out
keep
'cause it
saying
got rappers in
R&B
them,
since
bro.
it's
Yeah.
all R&B. I think anything before
That's what I'm saying.
the
We
90s
gotta
and
kick 'em
before
out.
the 2000s, R&B will win probably
None of
in
these
the 70s
songs got
and 80s.
no
because it was
Because
just
it's R&B. That's where the soul came
that's
from.
True.
So if you're gonna say just strictly R&B, I'm gonna say everything before even the 90s.
Well, that's not.
That was a good
we
collective
chose-
thought
hold on,
right
we
there.
chose the
what if you say
90s.
it's soul music?
But that's what
Soul is soul.
R&B
Yeah.
soul.
These-
That's
well,
what I'm saying.
R&B soul.
R&B
Like,
soul.
all
That's,
right,
that's
hold
what
on.
categorize
I
it.
found one that it breaks our rule. Is Dilemma by Nelly and Kelly Rowland.
Was that not an R&B record?
It was, but Nelly's a rapper.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you gotta put T-Pain on that.
I mean,
Take that
we
nigga out,
could-
put T-Pain in there.
I mean, if y'all want to write it.
But that's what I'm going back to
that's
the
only one I
original
see.
argument. You guys keep saying like which decade? I just feel like if you're gonna solely say R&B soul, then I'm gonna pick everything before
Before the-
2000 and 90s
Yeah, I agree.
because
I
80s and
agree.
70s. That's
That was-
what soul
but
and
my
R&B
thing
is.
I'll pick the 90s over the 80s because the 90s just had better songs.
R&B.
R&B. R&B records were better.
I don't know when you were naming
80s.
those 80s R&B
But the
songs.
80s,
Whoa,
I don't know.
all right, well, let's
and
check
that's
this
the
out.
point that I made though was because the 80s artists were bigger, so you gravitated towards those songs.
Well, let's check this out. Is R&B different from soul?
I always think of Apple on iTunes.
Yeah, a little bit,
R&B.
a little bit.
Because I feel like R&B 90s, it had like a hip hop feel to it,
Yeah.
like the Mary J's.
But R&B before 90s was like just
I think
R&B.
almost all
think
of
soul-
these soul are R&B
I think
songs.
soul has less.
Hip hop.
It's less. It's less. I want to say less raunchy.
Yeah.
They have more way to low key put that in the lyrics than R&B does. Just let
Okay,
it
when I
right
think
out
of
there.
soul,
you know
I
what I'm
literally
saying?
think Motown in my head. When I
But
think
soul
soul,
has that
that's
raunchiness,
Motown.
but it's
When I think of soul, that's
low-key.
yeah,
It's
Temptations.
Motown.
The
Yeah.
90s, even, and I love that point you made when you said the 90s had more of a hip hop feel when you think of Aaliyah, Mary J.
Yeah,
They just got
They
that,
do,
that
but
bounce.
you could listen to artists like Faith Evans in the 90s, and that was pretty soulful music.
Yes.
But
She had a hip hop feel to her too.
yeah.
But I get they.
But
that's when
everything-
hip hop was really taking off.
Yeah, but that's why I
So-
feel like the 80s and 70s, I mean, okay, the 70s, it's more soul.
Yeah,
There's
but,
not
but
any
can we
hard
knock
art.
can we
Yeah.
knock the 90s and 2000s because of hip hop? Like sometimes in the 80s, Michael Jackson incorporated rock in his music. Like Beat It is a rock record, low
Yeah.
key.
But we're not, but that's what I'm saying. You're talking about strictly R&B. So.
Yeah. I mean, we put Beat It on the list for the 1980s. That's still an
listen to Michael
R&B
tomorrow.
record, I think,
Yeah.
but there's some rock incorporated into it. Some of these they're still R&B records, but they may have a hip hop feel. That's just the time you're living in.
And
That's
like I
true.
said,
That is
that's
very
when
true.
hip hop was really taking off, like booming.
Yeah.
Like rap was mixed.
It's kind of
in.
like now in this decade, it's like the EDM kind of vibe to all the music.
the electronic
Yeah.
part.
Because-
Like I don't know if you can hold that against artists for
can't.
using that.
But I think that hip hop vibe came from like, all right, before the 90s, you had like the Grandmaster Flashes and because it was just like, yo, yo.
Yeah.
But then the 90s is when the rappers started actually mixing in with the singers.
Yeah.
So that's why that bounce
And-
kind of came
and
with
there's an
the singing.
incorporation. They sampled a lot of 70s soul records.
Yeah.
So they had a soulful feel with a little bit of a hip hop
Yeah.
feel. And so it was a good mix.
But you know what else too? I'm kind of looking at the list. I actually asked you guys to hand me this because looking at the 70s list, I just also think that the music was more happy-go-lucky other than, I feel like 2000s was all about breakups and heartbreaks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it and then you look at the 70s and it's all about
Yeah, I
just
agree.
like,
Well, did I have Marvin Gaye's What's Going On there? I might have left that off. That sucks.
Marvin
You
Gaye
had a
was
Marvin Gaye
icon.
song on
70s
here.
is definitely more about doing it rather than after the fact where
what's
it's
going on?
already
Yeah,
been
you
done.
did. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like the 70s was just more like, I'm making a comparison. It's more sensual. It's more happy-go-lucky.
That's what I'm saying.
It's,
Well, even-
it's
yeah.
honestly idolizing a woman, like when you hear Stevie Wonder. But when you hear about the 2000s, it's all about like teenage angst.
she
like,
ripped my
cheating.
heart out.
Yeah, like breaking
Shit.
up, like
Yeah.
pick up your boxes
Or-
and leave. Like it's
Like
very just
confessions
dealing
and
with the
definitely
heartbreak.
pressure, like, hey, I fucked up.
You know what though? I think like
Somebody
in the
fucked-
70s, it wasn't so genre centered. Does that make sense? Like,
I think it was
I think
all
it was a
genre
lot
centered
genre-
because
yeah.
it
In
was
a sense.
only black.
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to talk about race wise, then yeah, that's
Well, their
different.
sound just sounded. Well, there was white
But
artists that
sounded
had
black?
soul, like
Who?
the Doobie Brothers on here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, school me. I
Michael
really don't know.
McDonald was a black.
Doobie Brothers.
But what I mean by that is that I don't
Fucking
think
Doobie
people weren't so quick back then to like put you in a genre, like in a specific genre, like oh you do.
They just put you in a
R&B.
color.
Yeah,
Yeah, because of what
They
you
just
look
like,
like.
oh, black
they,
artists.
Yeah.
Put them over here. Don't matter what they sing.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
say-
you're right. You right.
Well, I mean, because
Darks in the
when we
corner.
talk Michael McDonald, he was a white dude. They had him listed under rock, but it's like no, he was a pretty soulful guy. Like, what's the Warren G and Nate Dogg record? Regulate.
Oh,
They
Regulators.
sampled Michael McDonald's
We are the
1970
Regulators.
something. Hit.
All
I
right.
forget
So
the
what
name
about
of it.
somebody like Selena?
See, she's
Latino pop. That's like what
yeah,
you would.
Selena?
Yeah.
the artist who
Selena.
was murdered.
Selena.
Selena.
The long black hair.
J-Lo
Like,
played her?
Yeah, yeah. She
with
got
Mark
murdered.
Anthony. Was it
Selena.
Or no, that was Elkington.
Yo, Driss, you're
You ever
banished
seen
from the
the movie?
convo almost.
Nigga, I don't even know who
You
you're
ever
talking
seen the
about.
movie that J-Lo, she played Selena?
No.
Look it
She's
up.
a
You got a
legendary
computer right in front
pop
of you,
singer
Driss,
who was
you
murdered
bastard.
in the, I think,
She was
the
murdered?
mid-90s.
She was killed by like her assistant or some shit like that.
I forget
I
her
thought it was
agent.
like the cartel or some shit. I don't even know.
What's her last name?
Just Selena.
That's how you know you're big.
Yeah,
When it's just one name.
share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real shit. So, all right. So, what are your guys' consensus? All right. Me and Curtis pretty much said we would take the 70s over the 2000s. What about you, Nick?
It's hard to say.
So why are you taking the 70s though?
I mean, are you talking about? Well, I got.
You just saying overall they just got better music.
I got to separate personal. So I'm gonna take the 70s just because I think these are just classic records. Yeah. Some of these, the list on the 2000s, they're really dope records, and some of these are classic records. I don't know if they'll be here in 10, 15 years. We'll be like,
you're right. Can I give my opinion? I'm gonna say I take the 70s based on the fact that all these tracks in the 70s, we just said, influenced everything the 2000s did. Yeah. And you can hear it.
In the
90s.
That is very true. Yeah.
So I'm going to take the 70s just based on the fact they have great songs, obviously, and they just influenced.
My thing is, I agree with Nick, but on the flip side, it's like
everything influenced. I know
like that. Each decade influences each.
Let me have my point.
I said we can say the 60s definitely influenced the 70s.
I'm gonna go.
60s influenced 70s, 80s.
So I'm gonna go 70s strictly for the fact that if I were to go to a club and they played any of those songs, I'm going crazy. But if half of those songs in that list, if I heard those out, I'd just be like,
okay, so not objectively, not what your personal preference is. I'm saying you just think the 70s songs were better. Okay.
And on top of that, I think we have more of an honest opinion about that because we didn't grow up with none of them 70s. We didn't grow up. Like we grew up with 2000 songs. Yeah. So that's why when we hear, we like, I remember this came out 8th grade, 6th grade. 70s, we like, bro, this was good music. Yeah. Period. We don't really have good memories from it, but we know what good music is.
But yeah, that's a
fact. Our parents played it for us. That's before we were had any opinion.
Maybe that's our memories.
We had no opinion on music when we heard these shits for the first time, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2020
to what Cassie said. So you're
20.
Cassie's saying saying that we didn't have opinions on the 2010s, right?
Even on but that goes even for the 90s. 30 years from now or 20. Well, I don't want to.
But the 70s tracks were the
we gonna be saying that about the 90s.
We're not gonna make a list for the 2010s because obviously the decade.
The generation under us is gonna be like, man, the 90s, bruh. 10 years from now or 20 years from now, they gonna be the ones under us because that's how we saying about the 70s now. Like the people over us is like, oh, the 70s was but we like. It was good, but y'all don't know about the 2000s.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, right.
Shit,
Cassie just said she's a teacher, and she said she teaches high school.
I'll be naming so many artists that I'll be thinking man, they be like, I don't know who the hell that is.
My brothers did not know who Missy Elliott was when she came out in the Super Bowl. And I was like, do you remember when Missy Elliott made that appearance at the Super Bowl with Katy Perry? And we were like, oh, she saved the halftime show. And I texted my brothers, so they're 6 years younger than me. So
that would hurt me.
And they didn't know who Missy Elliott was. And
that was the first.
Yeah, I mean, we know Missy, but Missy erupted in the 1990s.
Yeah, but you know who I knew who Missy Elliott was. I could hear her songs, but they literally had no idea who she was. It wasn't
when her music came out, her music videos. We were young when that shit. But
that's
out.
a little.
I couldn't really appreciate it.
But that's we didn't grow up with the 90s.
Her videos now,
right. And that's a little. And that's the thing, though. We're also a little different. We all really love music. For the casual fan, casual fan or the casual person, the 70s records that I listed off for people our age and definitely
they
younger,
might not even have heard.
Like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, who cares?
Like, who are the Doobie Brothers, bro?
Yeah, they would be like the Doobie Brothers. It's like actually they were pretty fucking legend. They're a legendary.
Yeah, it goes back to like you said, the love for the music. Because there's people our age right now who would probably look at some of that shit and be like, "Who is that?"
You know, who I think's name's funny is Teddy Pendergrass.
Teddy Pendergrass had records. I heard he was gay. I didn't know he was gay.
So you know what I think also with the 80s that we did last week? I feel like it wasn't really the era for like the R&B soul music.
It was a rock infused.
Yeah,
so it was a rock
and so heavy rock ballads.
If we wanted to do that, we should have just done like the top songs in general.
True that.
Yeah, there's still R&B.
That's what I was saying because you guys only say R&B, but if you're comparing actual music decade wise, like
we
there's
gotta
a difference.
include it all.
Yeah, there's a difference. But if you're just gonna stick to R&B soul, then I think that's a different story.
Well, the 80s had soul records because we had Anita Baker.
Should we put a disclaimer on these lists?
I think there's a difference between soul and R&B.
Yeah, but like you said, they were like rock and roll. Like influence, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I mean, we're talking about the 90s. There was hip hop influence.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's why we just gotta like include the genre the genre of that decade. You feel me? Like,
yeah. Because if we get into rap,
if we get into rap, then we could pretty much only do 2
So,
decades.
Driss, did you already answer the question? 70s or 2000s?
I still say 70s. Yeah. I'm still going 70s.
like the only way they would get that on rap back then is because of they were pioneers.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
outside of that, if we're talking about
we killing them.
In the 1990s, lyricism was
We smashed
on
them.
another level.
90s came, we shit on 80s,
So, yeah.
70s, rap.
We got another topic?
So our final, well, I'm saying we would pit the 70s versus the 90s. You guys want to save that for next week? Or how about for next week, we incorporate
The
what
70s
decade,
and the 90s.
like, because we both,
70s
the consensus
music and
was that the 1970s were better than the 2000s and the 90s were better
So
than
we
the 80s.
not going back to the 60s?
Nah,
That's too goddamn
that's too
far,
far, bro.
I mean, I can find 60s records. It's just,
I don't even know
I think
if
you
you
can. I think there's some good 60s records.
Some fucking Elvis on you.
But
Some
you
Beatles.
should, you should throw some Bob Dylan on there.
Oh, Bob Dylan. Well, he has that
I mean,
weird
y'all
voice.
didn't
don't he?
know, but Bob
Johnny
Dylan's
Cash.
I mean, Bob Dylan. Well, here's where the soul.
I don't know who the
Hold
fuck
on. Here's
Bob
where the
Dylan
soul
is.
influence. Yeah, that.
don't
Come
know.
on. Oh, that's a legendary guy.
Shit on me.
The niggas don't know who Celine is. Bob Dylan.
Bro,
the,
she's
thing,
bad.
You
The thing-
literally don't know who Bob Dylan
Is
is?
that really her?
I heard the name.
the thing with Bob
That's her.
Dylan, though,
At least you heard the
That's
name.
it.
the thing with Bob Dylan though is his
I'll let it
music. His music was the soundtrack to the civil rights movement.
Oh.
So like that kind of ties into.
He was a
like,
white
Who
guy.
sings that? Who sings
Oh,
that?
he was only like 19 when
right.
they were doing
What's
that.
that song on fucking Forrest Gump?
Hold on.
Oh, but not the war song.
Whoa.
You know- no. It's kind of like, he's got a gun over there.
Oh, I know
Who
that.
sings that?
Ah, shit. I know who you're talking. I know.
Yo,
I can think
That
of the
shit is
melody.
iconic. That's
I'm
an
not
iconic song.
gonna stop
bro.
the music this time.
All right.
But yeah, that was good. That was
right.
good.
Good.
That was good. So we all vote for the 70s on that one.
Yeah, 70
1970s
So,
on
yeah.
that one.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
and I think we'll compare the 1970s and the 90s next week. And
Yeah.
for our final, next week is gonna be our final guy episode.
No, the
Ooh.
week after next.
Oh, the week after next.
Two
No,
more
having
weeks.
their-
Next week is gonna be our final guy for some because the week after next the girls are
Yeah,
gonna be
2
on.
more weeks. The girls are going to be on here and killing it.
Yeah, 2
So we're
weeks.
going to end it on the girls.
Yeah.
It'll end it
That's
on a
what I was
special
saying.
episode. Yeah.
No,
we should-
no, they're
let's not-
doing
let's
theirs
not
next
work-
week.
All right,
We'll
yeah,
work it out.
We'll work it out.
We're
the
being
schedule.
stupid right now.
Yeah, anyways, y'all have a good week, man. Hope you had a
Yeah,
good Thanksgiving.
end it, Curtis, on the spiritual note.
But yeah, y'all have a good week, and I ain't got too much to say.
Yeah, I hope
It's getting cold over here, guys. I don't know where y'all at, but it's getting cold.
Always
Shit.
thanks
So
for
we locked
following
in.
and listening.
Yeah, give
we
us
enjoy
feedback.
it.
Continue to listen.
Enjoy it.
Continue to follow.
I hope
For
the
sure.
turkey. I hope your turkey wasn't dry this last week.
All right, we out.
Cheers.